and everybody on our team to have. And, our film room is named after her, like the championship trophies in our locker room. So she's like the epitome of like who we want to be, not only as basketball players, but like as people. Like she's one of the best there ever is. So, she's been nothing but supportive.
And I'm sure you've seen the All-Star voting returns. I'm curious, have you ever actually had a chance to play with Angel, and how fun do you think that could be if people end up making the All-Star game?
A lot of hypotheticals. I think both of you would probably, or both of us would probably tell you like our focus is on definitely playing basketball, and if that works out for the both of us, great. Like it would be a lot of fun. So, yeah, I guess I don't really know what all goes into how they select the All-Star team. I'm new to the league. I know fan vote is part of it, but there's also a lot of other criteria. It's not just fan vote. So, yeah, she's had a tremendous season, and if that was to happen, I'm sure people would love it.
Okay, well, the first two games were in Indiana, between obviously the Sky. Now this one is in Chicago. How do you think the energy and electricity, quite frankly, of the crowd might be today?
Yeah, I think it'll be tremendous. Obviously a little bit smaller of an arena, so a harder ticket to get. I expect it to be just a whole game of just, the crowd getting into it, whether it's for the Sky, whether it's for the Fever. And I think it's just going to be a great display of women's basketball. I think you're going to see it on both ends of the floor. They're a great defensive team. The way they rebound, the best rebounding team in the league. But I think like we were driving by and there's just like so many lines outside of people already trying to get in. So I think people are just really excited to, see this matchup and anticipate it. And obviously it's, two WNBA teams right in the Midwest where I grew up. And, I know how much they love women's basketball in this area. So I think people in this area are just really excited about this matchup. And you can just feel it driving up in the bus. So I think once everybody gets in the building, it'll be special.
Are you expecting a lot of black gold out there?
Yeah, but I know ticket prices are pretty high. So like, I never expect that. Like I never expect people to pay for those. And I've seen some black and gold already. And whenever we would come to Northwestern, like there's just a lot of Iowa connections here in Chicago, to the University of Iowa, whether working here or whatever it is. So who knows? I guess we're gonna find out. I don't know. I can't predict the future.
How much fun are games where the crowd is so involved, so energetic for you individually? Like how much do you feed off of that and play into that?
Yeah, I love it. Like I think that can definitely get you going as a player. And I don't know. I feel like that's kind of been the story for me over the course of the last 2 years, whether I was at Iowa or whether I'm here now. So I don't want to say it's something I'm used to because you never take like these crowds for granted. And but like when you hit a shot and like the crowd just goes crazy and then you can just kind of feel the energy building and they want you to shoot another one, like maybe that's a poison at times, but it's also really fun. And I think our team feeds off of it really well. I think that's why, we've been able to start playing really well at home. We've been able to string those wins together, and it's also really good for our fans. Like they deserve it too. They're coming out and supporting us, especially when we maybe didn't start the season very great. They continue to show up and sell out our arena every single night. So yeah, I love it.
But what about on like the opposite end when it's like you've got an opposing fan base that's like, feeding off of kind of, coming at the opposing team, and not just you individually, but like, is that fun to put into? Or
I guess I feel like we always have a lot of people cheering for us. So I'm not sure if they're always totally against us at times. I guess I hope like basketball is really fun. Like there should be people cheering for both teams. I don't think it should ever be a negative thing. Like I don't think as a player, like I'm not looking for the crowd to be negative toward the other team. Like I don't think there's a place in basketball for that. I think like, cheer for your team. That's great. That's fantastic. But just appreciate the basketball that's on the floor because it's really good. And that's what's going to help this league grow further and further.
It's a 4-game winning streak for you personally. How do you feel more comfortable? I guess have you felt settling in the key in these 4 games for yourself?
Yeah, I think like confidence is like a huge thing for our team. Like when you're able to string some wins together and feel some potential of like what we're able to do, and I think you can kind of tell our chemistry is starting to work a little better with one another. We are moving the ball a lot better. We're getting side to side. We're not just making one pass and trying to attack one-on-one. I think our defense is starting to slowly improve. Our turnover numbers have gone down a little bit. So I think it's just little things. And I think when we're able to hold teams under that 80-point range, we have a really good chance of winning, but also we've been able to score in the 90-point range, which is really good for us. So I think it's just the balance as well. Like we've had multiple people in double figures over the course of this win streak, and it can't just be one player, it can't be 2 players. And then that poses a huge matchup problem for the other teams when we're playing as well. when there's multiple people as a threat, you can't really just sell out on one or two people. So I think all of that combined is just provides a lot of confidence for our team.
You know, feel more comfortable just like passing reads wise, or just like that's what you've seen in these sports?
Yeah, I mean, I think my reads have definitely gotten better. I think continuing to find a way to take care of the ball a little bit better. And, you know, a lot of that is like, for myself, I think there's a difference between a good turnover and a bad turnover. So you go back and watch and it's like, it's a good pass to make and maybe it just hit off her hands wrong, went out of bounds, or maybe the defender got a little tip on the ball or whatever it is. So I think just going back and looking at those, but I think you can tell we're a little bit more on the same page. And I think things are starting to slow down for myself a little bit too.
Last one. When you talk about that, how important is the Olympic break going to be? Because you guys really didn't have a whole lot of time to practice, and now you're going to have, whether it's 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 10 weeks, however long, that you can just dial in. How big is that going to be?
Yeah, it'll be huge. And obviously we'll get a little bit break at the beginning, but then we'll have quite a bit of time to just practice and really get better at what we need to get better at. And once we come back, like those games are going to be super important for the playoff push that we're going to be able to make. And I don't want to say it's going to be like training camp, because I know it won't be like training camp, but that's probably like, you know, you get to get in there and work on things that you need to work on and go really hard and compete against one another. And really, we haven't had an opportunity to do a whole lot of that since really we were in training camp. Yeah, we've been able to practice and have some hard practices, but a lot of times, like, you're just going through walkthroughs preparing for your next opponent. So I think for our inexperienced group that we are, it'll be huge.